I call you?
Let's go with Susie.
Okay. Susie is somebody that reached out to me recently, that I think may have seen one of my prior videos, and Susie informed me of something that recently had happened to her that was very similar to a prior video that I had done, which was a video that became near and dear to my heart, and I've kind of become very passionate about this problem of nurse bullying and nurses turning each other in and nurses doxing each other out of just hatred and spite for whatever reason. So if you don't mind, Susie, kind of give me a little bit of a background as to what happened to you.
So I am a strong believer in standing up for nurses in general. You are passionate, as well as I and many other great nurses are very passionate about supporting each other. And a situation took place where I was doing just that. A physician had belittled a nurse. I stood up for that nurse. The nurse was very scared. You could tell, very intimidated by the situation that took place.
Really quickly, before you go any further, I just want to say how amazing and brave you are for actually coming forward and sharing the story, because it's really hard to do that, especially with fear that of other repercussions or just fear of other things happening. So I want to commend you for that, and I also want people to know that Susie's not a lunatic. She doesn't wear this on a daily basis. Okay, this is not Susie's attire for work. Susie obviously wanted to be able to interact with me, and so we kind of came up with this crazy idea to do a little bit of a get up or a mask or something. So I just want to applaud you and tell you thank you for that. And I was kind of giving a little statement there so everybody understood that you're not like going to Mardi Gras or something like that.
Yes, this is not my norm. And really, I have the backing that I need. I just don't want to drag any more people through the mud in this situation as I talk about it. So that's why I am presenting the way I am. But basically,
you had a physician that
yeah. So I got upset by the whole thing. I went on a site that is a closed site and ranted on it about how doctors should not be intimidating nurses, especially when they're trying to do the right thing for their patients.
Right.
And some other nurse who does not know me, does not know my family, doesn't know anything about me, tried to report that, or did report that, I should say, to the corporate people involved with where I work.
Was there any picture associated with the post, or
no?
Just
no pictures, no names. Stated that I was making our facility look unprofessional because I was calling out this doctor. I did not use any names, like I said, but I did describe my infuriation with the fact that he was so demeaning in his behavior. And the interesting thing was, in that closed group, there's other people that know me, that work with me, that saw the post. And the feedback that I got immediately, even from people that were higher up within my facility, were like, thank you for backing her. We are going to make sure that she knows that she did the right thing, that she is not ever scared of doing the right thing again. And we're going to have a conversation with this physician to make sure that he understands that this was not an appropriate way to do things. So everybody was on the same page with me. But this nurse, like I said, who does not know me, knows nothing of who I am, where I come from, what my situation is, reported that, skewed it, made it sound like I was saying things that I was not saying. The good news is that the people that I work with were like, this is not the message that she was sending. And
how did you find out, like, when did the first time you found out that somebody had even reported you or had even said something to your job? Was it when you showed up to work? Did you get a message? What happened?
So I was at work, and one of the other people came to me and said, you need to take that post down.
Okay.
Then I got called into an office and asked questions about it. And they said, we're not seeing anything. They said, first of all, we're glad there was nothing identifying.
Right.
In the post. I said, of course not. Wouldn't do that. Secondly, they said that they understood that this was a closed group, that this was a conversation meant with the purpose of bringing nurse support to each other and building each other up. So they didn't take it out of context. And I
want to give props to them for doing that.
Right. I was shocked because I was shocked because I thought that I had my bases covered in terms of not being able to be reported. And one of the first things I learned is that if you have multiple different social media and you have the same photo attached to those multiple forms of social media, then they can find out things from other places. It's just not safe.
So your Facebook page, your profile was pretty much well covered. You didn't have you worked on there, anything like that. So you felt like, I can share stuff in a group, and as long as I'm vague, nobody's going to be able to tie me to anything. It's just like being anonymous, basically.
Right. And so I was shocked.
You're shocked and angry.
Yeah, it got to where it got. I was also like, why did it need to get to this point? Well, so apparently...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but did your job tell you that day, did they say, we're not going to do anything to you? Or was it like, we need to look into it a little bit further? Or did they had your back immediately and they were like, we're all good?
They said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to pursue anything with it. They said, we're glad that you took it down just to make it go away for the time being, because we don't need to continue, conversations with this. They realized quickly, and this was interesting, so they responded to this person that reported me to them with just a very blanket, thanks for notifying us and we'll address it. Okay. This person responds back to them, I hope you do. I wouldn't want this kind of employee associated with the place that I worked at. So then they
were out to get you. They were either so enraged by they just couldn't stand themselves, or there's some, sorry for saying, some bird that just wants to be mean to people. A bully.
Right. Yes. So I learned a lot from the situation. I'm not sorry that it happened. I did some of my own investigating. I did figure out who this person was. This person was stalking me pretty heavily on multiple forms of media. And you can find out who it is that's looking at your stuff. You can see.
That's right. People know how to do this. How did you figure out somebody was stalking you? Because I would have no clue how to know if somebody was stalking me. I don't know if you're willing to share that or not, but how you kind of figured some things out on your own. So how did you do that?
I did some digging to figure out how do you see who is looking at your stuff on Facebook and on other forms of media, and they're tricks to the trade, if you will. If you look at different names that pop up in your little people searches, the ones that are always popping up at the top are ones you've either communicated with or who have been on your profile frequently and most recently. And this person who I did not know kept popping up on multiple forms of my media.
Typed in letters. Is that what you did? Like,
yep.
It's like as if you were typing in somebody's name.
Yep.
Start showing you people that it recommended, like people you had been in contact with a lot. Right.
Okay. So I figured out who it was, sent a message, and this person completely denied ever even looking at a single form of me on social media, and I knew I had multiple forms. Multiple. So, surprise, surprise. Then
associated to a couple other of your sites, correct?
Right.
Like it wasn't just Facebook, but you were able to see they had looked at for whatever reason, you didn't even know this person's name. They kept popping up as somebody that was snooping and looking at your page.
Yep.
So so you messaged the person and they said, I don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Completely like, I have no idea who you are. Why are you even messaging me? And I said, you need to have
a moment of like, maybe I'm wrong, or were you like, no?
Well, I would have, except the one other piece of information I had was that this person was from Texas, so I knew the state that this person was from. And that made it easy for me to go, this person doesn't know me. This person is on all forms of my social media. And surprise, surprise, this person is from Texas.
And they were in a similar group that you were in.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Yes. So we put all of that together. And then when she kept on denying, I went straight to the people and I said, this person has been stalking me. To the people at my work, is this the person? Yes, it is. So I had no doubts. Now I'm like, I know this is the one.
Yeah.
Put all of that together, and next thing you know, she's starting to block me because she realizes I've cornered her. Started sending information of, look, here you are on my side over here. Here you are on this over here. Here you are over here on this. And then she blocked me. So I knew she knew.
Yeah.
What I couldn't understand is how global of a thing it is for people to try to take other nurses down. I don't get it. I can't relate to it. I'm like, we all do this job. It is hard. It is a calling. It is something that you have to really want to do to get through those 12-hour shifts, especially on days when you're short-staffed. And we all know how that is. We're always short-staffed. It's not like it's a 1 in a million thing. It happens constantly, And so
and we all need places to be able to vent. I mean, I feel like as nurses, like at the end of the day, you need to be able to have an outlet. You need to be able to be like, listen, I had a crap day today. This happened. What a jackass.
Yes.
And be able to just like, bounce things off with somebody else that understands. Because as much as like, and I'm sure I mean, I don't know if anyone's family's in the field, but my husband is, but like, if I were to try to like tell this to like my kids or my sisters, like they're gonna like, they don't get it. But it's nice to have somebody that can reciprocate it and get it, and like, yeah, I feel you. This kind of thing happened to me too, or whatever. And it's sad that lately, it's come to the point that you have to be scared that you really can't even post or vent or communicate with people in groups because you don't know who's malicious and who's out there to just be negative and be mean. I mean, I can't imagine how this post really affected this person so dramatically that it was going to interfere with her life and she needed to just take you down. I mean, it makes no sense. It enrages me, and I feel so happy and proud of your work for your job, for supporting you, and realizing that this, and not trying to make an example of or something, realizing that this was just a harsh person that was trying to read into something that's vague and and also for you being brave and figuring out, hey, I'm not just going to take this. I want to know who this was. I want to know who the heck really would want to do this to me. Like, curious, like, is it a coworker? Is it somebody that I work? You know what I mean? Like, is it somebody that I work with? That, like, that to me would make more sense almost, as opposed to being a complete random stranger that does this for who knows what. But I will tell you, and I think I have told you, that that person is no longer associated with that group. Yes. But I've somebody made sure of that. So that person is not in that group anymore. So hopefully they cannot do that again, at least in that one particular group, which is a large group. And last thing I would ask you is, like, if you had to give somebody a piece of advice, like after going through all of this, if you had to give somebody something, like another nurse that's new and is in Facebook or is in other social media groups, what would you tell somebody before they post something? What could save them?
I would say, well, first, it was smart that there was no identifiers. There was nothing that they could use against me. So be smart about what you
selfie.
Right.
Your badge wasn't exposed.
Right. None of that. Secondly, I would say check your profiles on every different thing and make sure you don't have the exact same photo, because it's less of it takes away the confidence of somebody trying to do this, for them to look at one of your pictures in one and look at one of your pictures in another and be certain that they have the correct person. That way, at least you've thrown a wrench in things, because you could even say, how do they know that that's me? That's not my picture in that they're reporting me from.
Right.
So it helps to give you that extra layer of protection. And the other thing I would say is be savvy. You know, I was smart enough to know how to figure out who this person was. I was smart enough to know that we needed to shut that down. I appreciate the support from you and from all the others that have come forward and said, you know, these people are out there and we've got to put a stop to this. We need to change our nursing culture. This is a poison that does not belong. It does not belong. It just can't be a part of us. It can't be a part of our profession or who we are.
And your users were different in these different platforms, like Facebook versus something else. They were different, but it was just the picture could tie you in as being the same person, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I hope that things start to change, and I want to tell you thank you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it, and I really feel like I told you that you are a great, strong, determined, and smart individual, that hopefully you, by sharing your story and your cute little mask and your cute little all get up, somebody else is going to see this and be like, oh, gosh, I didn't think about that. Like, somebody else from losing their job ultimately, which is so. Thank you, Susie.
Yes, thank you.
We'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.